Hi, I'm Helen and welcome to my channel. Today's practice will be a class to help you get to sleep. Yoga is a really great tool that can help you get a good night's sleep. When you work shifts and your sleeping patterns are disrupted, it's really hard to get your 8 hours in. So this class will just help you wind down, relax, and hopefully you'll have a restful night or day's sleep afterwards. We'll need one prop today, which is a blanket. That's all you're going to need. So I'll see you on the mat. The first pose we'll do today is Viparita Karani, inverted lake pose or waterfall pose. This is what you'll need your blanket for. So fold the blanket up so you have a little bit of depth to it. Come over to a wall and place it directly against the wall. This takes a little bit of maneuvering to get into, but you're going to bring your cheek as close to the wall as possible and then come onto the back and bring the legs up. So you may have to do a bit of shuffling to get your glutes on the wall. If you don't have a free space on the wall, you can do this in the middle of the room with your feet just up in the air, but involves a little bit of muscle engagement. When you're at the wall, you can just relax. So widen the shoulder blades. You can bring the hands down to rest on the floor with the palms facing upwards, or you can have them on the belly. Just pick a position that feels good for you. Start to close the eyes and center in on the breath. So the feet, just let them be all floppy. You can have the legs vertical, or if it feels better for you, maybe bring them out to a V. You can even bring the soles of the feet together and do this butterfly pose against the wall. Whatever feels good for you. I like mine just being vertical. So choose your position and start to relax and surrender into the earth. Taking a deep inhale, deep exhale, deep inhale, deep exhale. And just repeat this pattern in time with your breathing, in a rhythm that feels good for you. So this pose is really restorative, soothing for the body, allowing gravity to drain the legs of the lymph. And we are in an inversion here, with our hips slightly elevated, the head is lower than the heart. And this pose brings about a relaxation response in the body, tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is also known as our rest and digest system. Starts to help the body relax and unwind. It's perfect to do before you go to sleep. So we'll spend a few more breaths here. And you can do a quick body scan of how you're feeling. Is there anywhere that you're holding tension? We often hold a lot of tension in our jaw. We clench our teeth and we don't even realize it. Sometimes we push the tongue into the roof of the mouth. So see if you're holding any tension there when you don't need to. Just let go of it. Relax and surrender. Focusing your attention on the breathing. Letting go of any thoughts that you've had, anything that's been maybe troubling you or on your mind throughout the day. Now's the time. Just bring your awareness to you and how you're feeling. Not let any of the previous day cloud your thoughts. Take a few more breaths here. And then to come out, bring the knees in towards the chest and then gently fall over onto one side. And then push yourself up and I'll see you on the mat. So the mat's gone a bit crooked. We'll start with Janushirasana, which is head to knee pose. So you can bring the flesh of the buttocks back and the legs are extended in front. And your blanket may come in handy here if you have tight hamstrings or you find it difficult to sit with the legs extended. Now bring the left leg into the chest and then allow the left knee to fall out to the side. So the left sole of the foot is on the inner right thigh. Keeping the right leg active with the feet flexed or the foot flexed. Lengthen out the spine, and then as you exhale you're going to tip forward from the hips, bringing the body over this leg, keeping the back straight. Lengthen as you inhale, and as you exhale, maybe coming forward. Long deep breaths. Just surrendering. Doesn't have to be the deepest forward fold. Just focusing in on the breath and the body. This is a great hip opener. It's good if you've been sitting at a terminal all day or driving a car. It also gets into the right hamstring. And as you lengthen the breath and surrender, you may find you can go a bit deeper. So if you're up here, this is fine. This is better to be up here and keeping the spine straight than being like this and struggling to grab the foot. You don't need to grab the foot. Breathing deeply. And then inhale, we'll slowly come up. So keeping this right leg extended, bring the left knee back in. Then you're going to cross this left foot over the right thigh. So keeping both sitting bones on the floor. You can always be sitting up on this blanket if it feels better. We'll come into a seated twist. So really hugging this left leg into the chest. Lift the left arm up. And just bring it behind. So it's like a kickstand behind you. On an inhale, the right arm lifts to the sky. And then you're going to use the strength of this core here to twist around to the left. You may be hooking this elbow on the outside of the left thigh. Or you can simply grab your leg and cuddle it into the chest. Lengthen the spine as you inhale, and then as you exhale, rotate. Couple of breaths here. So when we twist from the mid to the upper back. The lower spine, the lumbar region, doesn't actually twist. And the higher up the spine you go, the more rotation is available. So if you think of your neck, you can twist this the most. And then inhale, come forward. We'll keep this leg over. We'll come into half Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So pushing the knees together. So ideally the knees are stacked one on top of each other. If you have tight hips, this might be quite a difficult pose. This pose was my nemesis for many years. But just be content with where you are. If your knee is right up here, that's fine. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, maybe come forward a bit. So as you come forward, it does give you a bit more freedom in the hips, and it may make this more accessible. You can keep the spine elevated, or if it feels good for you, you can come forward, maybe bring the forehead down to the knee. And breathe and surrender here. So this is another great pose to get into the hips. We really do hold a lot of tension and emotions in our hips, and it's good to get into them, to release. Sometimes these hip openers bring up a lot of feelings, maybe feelings of discomfort, not just in the body but in the mind as well. If you do have these feelings, just acknowledge them and then let them go. Don't try and fight them. And then on an inhale, we lift the head, come back up to seated, unfold this left leg, and just gently shake these legs in the sockets. And we'll do that little sequence on the other side. So bringing the right knee into the chest, hug it tight, and then allow this right leg to fall open to the side with the right sole of the right foot coming inside the left thigh. So you may find that your leg is up here. I'm much more open on my left side, so my right knee does sort of lift up a bit. It's perfectly normal to be imbalanced. Inhale, lengthen out of the waist, and then as you exhale, again tipping from the hips, coming forward, lifting the chest, and exhale, descend. So this pose is head to knee pose. Ideally bringing the head to the knee. Be content with wherever you are. The outcome of a pose is never really the goal. What you learn along the way about yourself and how you approach it, these lessons are far more valuable than ever being able to get your head to your knee. When you get it there, nothing spectacular happens. Keep this left leg active with the foot flexed. Breathe and surrender down. And then inhale, slowly come up and return to vertical. Bring this right knee into the chest, and then we'll cross it over the left thigh, grounding this right foot. Inhale, lengthening out of the waist. Inhale, the right arm up and comes behind. Left arm can grab this right thigh, hugging it tight into the chest. Or if it's available to you, you may be able to hook the elbow. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, twist. Stay here for a few breaths. Just nice, long, deep breaths. The breath is really key to helping calm the body. Deepening the exhale will help again trigger the parasympathetic nervous system and calm us, de-stress us, help us release. Then inhale, come back to center. We'll move into that half cow face pose on this side. So bring this right foot close to the left hip. Maybe push the knees together, stacking them, lengthening out of the waist. You can stay upright like this, or you may find it easier to come forward, and that gives a little bit more freedom in the hips. Breathe here, you can stay upright, or if it feels good, just surrender down. Bring in the chin or the forehead, the nose to the top knee. Letting go. Observing where you're feeling any sensation. I can really feel this in my left hamstring and my left calf. And then inhale, lift the head up. And we'll come back to upright. Just use the strength of the hands to release this leg. Just wiggle the legs a bit in the sockets. Just releasing. We'll come into a version of butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together. Some versions of this pose, the feet are very close into the groin. This time we're going to do it more in a diamond shape. So bring the feet out, lengthen out of the waist here, bring the soles of the feet together, and as you exhale, come forward from the waist and descend between the thighs, holding on to the feet. And then allowing the head to come down. You can have the arms inside the calves or outside the shins, whatever feels good for you. Maybe you can bring your forehead to your feet and feel the sensation of your hair on your feet. You might not have felt that since you were a child. And just surrender and breathe here. And then on an inhale, we'll slowly come back up. Use the strength of the hands to bring the knees together and release the feet out. Again, maybe shake the legs. We'll come into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So again, you may sit up on your blanket here if you find it difficult to have your legs extended like this. You can always keep the knees slightly bent as well, which makes it a bit more accessible. On an inhale, arms come up to the sky and lengthen out of the waist, and then come forward from the hips, really folding from here, not the upper back. So come forward, 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 as much as you can, maintaining the integrity of the spine. The hands can come down to the floor, the shins. Maybe you can reach the feet, you don't have to. Lengthen out of the waist and then exhale, descend. You can also use this blanket if you're not sitting on it to fold into this, and it makes it a bit more restorative with this little bundle to lean on. So do whatever feels good for you. I like to give you lots of different options in these classes, because although I'm guiding you. You really are your own teacher, and your body is your own teacher. So only ever do things that feel good for you. Don't be attached to any outcome or any idea of how you believe a pose should look. There's a lot of aesthetic yoga that we see on social media. Some of the people that you see in poses are dancers or gymnasts or acrobats. What you see as advanced poses are never really important. What's important is the practice itself, what it teaches you about how you approach things, how you respond. Because how you are on the mat is a reflection of how you deal with things in real life. We learn to move through challenging poses and observe how we respond to them. We can take those lessons away from class and apply them in real life when we're faced with a challenging situation. The more you release and surrender here, you may find your body opening and you can get a little bit deeper. You can surrender a tiny bit more. And let go a bit more. Take a couple more breaths. And then on inhale, slowly lengthen the spine, come back up. Make our way onto the back. Slowly release down using the strength of the core. And then bring the knees into the chest one by one, rocking gently from side to side. And we'll move into Ananda Balasana, happy baby pose. So separate the thighs so the knees pointing towards each armpit. Feet come up as if you're standing on the sky. Reach up the outside of the feet, pulling the knees towards the armpits. If you can't reach the feet, you can always just grab the back of the thighs. You're in exactly the same position. And just allow the hips to open here. If it feels good, you can actually rock gently from side to side. Feel a release in the lower back and in the hips. Making sure you're not tensing the shoulders, or the jaw or the tongue. Using deep, long breaths to help you relax and let go. And then bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a little squeeze. And we'll move into Shavasana, final relaxation. So release the feet one at a time to the bottom of the mat. Allow the legs to flop open. Totally release the legs. Shoulders are tucked under with the back of the neck long. Chin is slightly tucked. Palms face upwards. Allow the fingers to curl inwards. Make sure not one part of the body is touching another. The windows of the eyes are closed. The arrows of attention are turned inwards. Slowly release into the floor. Let go of any thoughts you're having. Just allow them to drain away. If you find your mind wandering, just bring it to the breath. And release and surrender here. And start to wiggle the fingers and toes, bringing your awareness back into the room. Interlace the fingers over the head. Stretch the feet in the opposite direction, a full body stretch. Then roll over onto your favourite side, coming into fetal position. Keep the eyes closed. Maybe release your head to your hands like a little pillow. And stay here for a moment or so. And keeping the eyes closed, slowly come up. Come into a comfortable seated position. Spine straight with the hands face down on the knees. Shoulders are relaxed, chin parallel to the floor. Then bring the hands to the chest in prayer mudra, namaste mudra. And the thumbs up to the third eye on the forehead. Clarity, thumbs to the lips, clear communication, and then back to the chest, thumbs to the heart, sending out good vibes to everybody you know. And then slowly open the eyes. So hopefully you feel nice and relaxed now after that little sequence to prepare you for sleep. And there was a recent survey completed by the National Police Wellbeing Service, and around 45% of officers reported that they regularly get less than 6 hours sleep a night. Obviously this is not ideal. We want to be trying to get 7 to 8 hours a night. So maybe if you're finding yourself a little bit wound up and you can't sleep, you can do 1 or 2 of the poses in this class to help you relax and calm down and get in your Zeds. I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Thank you for joining me.